Okay, ready. Let's go.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hi, Sridhar. Really good to chat with you. We were just talking about how all of us are a little bit groggy for different reasons. On this
you in
conversation.
the evening and me in the morning. That's true.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll be screening this after everyone has just watched your wonderful short documentary, Raja Bhau. And to give a quick intro about Sridhar, Sridhar has made many, many wonderful queer films, is on the board of KhushATX, which is the largest South Asian queer festival. And I'm really excited that we were able to get you for this conversation. Anshuman is going to take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, and hello to all the people in Austin, ATX. Khush ATX. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, both of you, for moderating this Q&A. It's really helpful for the audiences to understand what the film was about, from my point of view. Thank you for making this happen.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you. Thank you for taking this time. Kind of going off of what you just said, Sridhar, can you tell us the motivation for making this film in the first place?
Yeah, basically the thing is, like, we have had a lot of films on gay characters, lesbian characters, trans men, not so much of lesbian, but gay and trans people stories have been told often. But even I have made films on gay, lesbian, and trans women. But this is a topic I never dealt with. But I don't know whether I feel maybe a little too not comfortable making a film on trans men. We always feel that trans men should make a film on themselves. But since I got a bit of a funding from Humsafar Trust to do a short film on awareness. That's the basic thing. We need to just basically make a film on acceptance of a LGBT person. That's the brief which was given to me. And I said, I want to make a film on a trans man because I don't see enough representation of trans men. And I want them to tell their own story on screen. I'll just be a facilitator. So it was very difficult to find a trans man who is willing to speak to the camera. And more difficult was finding a family who would speak to the camera. I mean, we wanted to be very sure that the acceptance should be by the person and the family. That's the journey we want to show. And finally, we found Merlin and their family. They're so beautiful. They're so refreshing. They're so candid. They just speak their heart. No artifice at all. They just, whatever they feel, they come out with their on screen. So it's a beautiful family. And also the extended family, the brother, the cousin brothers, the friends, all of them make a whole journey of acceptance as Merlin. So I was really fortunate to find Merlin and find such beautiful people who could speak to the camera. So that's the reason I made. So as I said, I wish we would have more trans men filmmakers making film on trans men. But for now, let's accept this.
No, it was fantastic. I think you did a wonderful job with it. If I can ask one related question, how did you find Merlin?
Yeah, basically the thing, in Humsafar, there's a trans man called Raj Kanodia. So we approached, and he is knows a lot of trans people across his area, but nobody wanted to speak to the camera. He approached many people, and finally Merlin came on board, and it was like, wow, this is like. So I went and met Merlin and his parents before shooting at their home, try to understand what their story is and what the limits of our shooting and questions should be, So that's something which is important for every documentary filmmaker to understand, that you cannot just go on and invade the privacy and ask all sorts of questions. You need to have these boundaries set beforehand. So that's what I did. And they were really cool. And we at KhushATX this year, we showed their film on the big screen. And the mother and the father and Merlin were there. They were so thrilled. I mean, everybody was clapping for them. And it's a moment. I mean, so Merlin says, Merlin, the protagonist, says that if by being part of this film, if he's able to communicate to anybody out there that they could also live a happy life if their family is accepting, and pass on a message to families to accept their children, he would have been very happy. That's the reason he participated in the film. That's what he said.
That's beautiful.
Amazing, amazing. How is Merlin doing now? Have you kept in touch with him?
Yeah. I mean, we have been in touch every 2 days. So I wanted to invite him for this, but the timing is a bit too off right now. but
Yeah.
he's pretty good. He's changing his job. He used to work with Tata. Right now, he's shifting his job. So, but he's looking right now to shift from a corporate job to a job which is more satisfying to him. He likes to be a tour guide, so he
Yeah.
likes to show around Bombay, etc. That's one of the things skills he has,
Yeah.
So, and painting, that's the art, and he paints in the film. So that would be the thing he would be interested in. Let's see what happens to him. But yeah, I'm in touch with him and his parents.
Good, good, good.
I'm glad he's doing well. I think yeah, his personality and then his family's personality was one of the things that really makes the film so vibrant.
Correct. And the grandmother in the end.
Yes,
So-
I was just telling Ananya about the grandmother. She like took my heart. She stole the show.
Yeah, I know, totally.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, amazing.
And then I think, did you have a specific audience in mind, Sridhar, when you were making this film? Was there someone sitting in the audience that you had in mind that you were making this film for?
So basically, no, not really. But I think the film was made for a wider audience. Basically, not just LGBTQ community members, but non-LGBTQ community members too, who would see a trans man from a different lens from what they've been seeing in the past or been told to see in the past. There's kind of myths and misconceptions who are trans men, etc., trans masculine people. So I think we want to break this myths with this film. And we wanted to basically carry it across, not just the LGBTQ community, but across. But I think the specific target would be the parents, Any parent who is raising a child, the child could be, of course, LGBTQ or heterosexual or cisgender, but they should know that there's a possibility of something else, that these possibilities exist. The parents should know that, so that if the child comes across with a different identity in the future, the parents should be able to accept that identity. So that's the main reason for making this film. And it's like going quite well. We had almost 18 festival screenings and almost 10 community screenings. So yeah, it's interesting. The discussions have been very interesting, and some discussions when Merlin is part of, it's a one more layer to that, I think, in person too, of course. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great that it's reaching so many audiences and the people that you want to communicate. I want to touch on something that you mentioned in the beginning, that you wanted to specifically focus on a story of acceptance. And can I poke that a little bit? Can you talk about why exactly you wanted that angle also?
See, I'll tell you what, the youngsters nowadays feels what is acceptance? Why do you need acceptance? We from the older generation, who basically lived in the shadows for many, many decades, till we came out. I was a very late bloomer. I came out when I was 26. Nowadays youngsters come out when they're 13, 14, 15. But I was a very late bloomer. But for me, and it took almost 7 years of conversations with my mother, because my mother is from a small town. At that point of time, there was no conversations about LGBTQ issues. There was nothing much happening visibly, So it took a long time for my parents to understand who I was, And I felt it was very traumatic on both the sides for me to be kind of explaining to her again and again why I'm so, and for the mother to try to understand who this person is. He was my dear son, and suddenly he's now a gay man with a partner, out in the media as a gay man. She was totally, it's all these things exploded on her, And then I said, one of the interviews, I said, I'm just not gay, I'm homosexual. That really hit badly, because you can use the word gay, still does not have that whole edginess. Whereas when you say it's a homosexual, it immediately connects your identity to your sexual act, So that my mother, of course, had a big issue per se. And usually my mother has also been accepting, but what happens is the relatives around, they poke them. Whenever my interview comes on television, they call up my mother and say, okay, what was your son speaking? They bloody well know what I was speaking, But they'll ask her, what was your son speaking? So what I'm saying is parents go through a lot of trauma trying to understand. So we want to make, of course, in Raja Bhau, we paint a very rosy picture. I understand. Not all families would be as accepting,
Right.
There are families which are going to be more problematic in accepting. They might not have the information. They might not have the, I would say, the understanding what these parents have per se. But each person's journey is different. But we just hope through Merlin's journey, we're able to inspire other parents to be more accepting, so that they can see their child being as happy as Merlin. That's a basic idea.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful feeling, because another thing that we had talked about earlier is how there's this preconceived notion that if only westernized people can be more accepting, and then, oh, the more education you get, the more accepting you are. And we know from like personal experience that's absolutely not the case. And this is in the film as well. If the grandmother she is not on Wikipedia or Google or TikTok and like seeing these things, right? But
Right.
she's just very pure-hearted and loving. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also that's the same thing even in India. I would say that it's a myth that like only educated people are more accepting. That's really not true. You can find stories of acceptance in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and even in villages where people are unlettered per se. They're not really kind of gone to a school, or as you said, or not on social media, not into absorbing news all the time. But innately they feel that this is a person I love, and I need to continue to loving this person despite his or in spite of his or her gender identity or sexual orientation. That's the beauty of it. Yeah, we wish more people like the grandmother and the parents. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you, so you've been with Kashish for many years now. How many years exactly?
So I was one of the founding person of Kashish 14 years ago. We started Kashish in 2010 after the Delhi's High Court ruling in 2009, reading down Section 377.
Yes.
That happened in 2009. And then, of course, 2013, the Supreme Court reversed the decision, and 2018, finally, we are there. Okay. So I've been the festival director for last 14 years. Next year will be the 15th anniversary. It's been a wonderful journey. We these days screen at this Liberty Cinema, which is 1,200 seats, and we pretty much fill up these 1,200 seats.
Wow.
And people cheering and clapping to every dialogue on the screen is a pleasure for any filmmaker or any audience members. So it's a very beautiful experience of. It's a safe space for intermingling of LGBTQ people and non-LGBTQ people. We have people who do not have any idea about what LGBTQ lives are about. They have this, whatever they've read in the papers, etc. They come to the festival, see these films on the big screen, and also interact with people in the safe space. At Kashish, people can be whoever they want to be. They can be dressing the way they want. They can express their identity the way they want. So it's a beautiful experience where both the people take back something after this intermingling of networks, So yeah, we've been doing that, and we also have a lot of celebrity attendance that helps the festivals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's been a good journey. But one of the things is what we aim to do was, as I said, dispel notions, misconceptions among the non-LGBTQ audiences' minds. That's the reason we held it in the mainstream theatrical space always,
Yeah.
So it's a celebration for the LGBTQ community, but also eye-opener for the non-LGBTQ.
Yeah. And sorry, did you have?
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask about, so you've seen this landscape of Indian queer cinema now for the last almost 15 years, and probably more than that, it was just not through Kashish. And what are you looking forward to seeing more of in the next coming years? What are you looking forward to seeing, and what are you seeing, and what would you like to see?
Okay, that's a lot of questions, but I'll try to answer it short. So I think I've seen a radical change in the way LGBTQ people are represented in Indian cinema. I'm not saying Bollywood only, but Indian cinema and comprises of all language cinema, and also I would say OTT platforms and television. Things have changed dramatically. I didn't expect this change to happen so soon. And I don't think I want to give the credit to the Supreme Court verdict of 2018. No, that's not the only reason the representation changed. I think there's constant, I would say, coming out of LGBTQ people in society and saying that this is who we are and we need our representation on screen. So somewhere or the other, I would say the mainstream filmmakers have realized that they cannot represent us badly. So the representation is right now, I don't think we find very bad. Earlier, it used to be very stereotypical, kind of a caricaturish, but now that has shifted for sure.
Yeah.
But whether we have enough screen time, that's a point in question. So some of the characters are just not fleshed out enough. They're just there for representation's sake, just to tick a box. No, that is happening much more in. Oh wow! Okay, I love.
She's very interested in this answer.
She's interested. Right. So I think like right now the phase is where everybody is trying to jump on the bandwagon. Everybody wants to have an LGBTQ character in any project, and it's a good thing in a way because I really think that we are seen more often. But again, a lot of people say you're being seen too much in every project, But we counter with that with like for so many decades we have not been seen at all. So we are just having a small little blink in the entire thing. So let's have the show. So, but like I would say that like if you're having a character in a web series or a film, give us that space to narrate our story in a little more bigger way, not just put us as a small. So there are a lot of these OTT shows where every cop is a lesbian or a gay man. Why? I mean, nowadays it's become a trope now. It's suddenly become a trope now that so their character arc is not defined so much, their life story. They just have one scene with a lover and they're just doing their own bit, So that needs to change per se. We need to have full-fledged characters like Made in Heaven 1 and 2 or many other series, like, 4 more shorts. Basically, these are where you have these LGBTQ characters which are fleshed. I mean, Made in Heaven 2 has a transgender actor playing a transgender part.
Yes.
And that's brilliant.
Yes.
I mean, she's fantastic.
Yeah. She was amazing.
Sridhar is fantastic in the thing. So we need more of that where people play I mean, I'm not saying every character needs to be played by themselves because then we need to find a policeman to play a policeman. That's not the way. But as far as possible, we need to have greater representation of LGBTQ people in front of the camera, but also more importantly, behind the camera. So that's one of the things we are fighting for. Basically, if you cannot have actors playing those parts, at least you have writers, directors, camera people, sound recorders. Everybody could be. At least you should have queer people in the team if you're making a queer film, period. That is a basic necessity, And they should hire me. I'm not being approached by any.
Hire Sridhar, everybody.
So I've not been approached by any mainstream platform yet, So I've made so many films in the past. That's a tag I'm going to be carrying till my death.
Films picked up by streaming services also.
Yeah, the three of my films have been on Netflix. The Gulabiana, my first film, Breaking Free, and then Evening Shadows. All were licensed for 3 years. So it has been there. I have a good track record, but I'm not getting work. So that should change per se. We LGBTQ filmmakers should be hired to make, at least I'm saying if you're making 100 stories, at least pick 5 of us to do 5 stories.
Yes.
That's at least the ratio we need to do that. We need to have this balance a little more where we also get to tell our own stories in the way we want to do that. Not necessarily with usually the mainstream, non-LGBTQ filmmakers apply a little bit of glaze. There's a bit of a glaze which covers the blemishes a little more. So we like to show our blemishes. Why not? So that's the thing. So we need a little more. I would say more place at the table in the stakeholders tables where we also can tell our own stories. But I think we are going in a good way. We have a lot more. So the other thing is like we still need more representation of trans men and non-binary persons. There's absolutely no discussion. Nobody kind of really talks about non-binary or asexual persons at all in the mainstream media in India right now. So that time has to come right now. That's a discussion. So at KhushATX, we have been focusing on the marginalized within the LGBTQ community. There's like a lot of communities, sub-communities which are marginalized within the LGBTQ community. We focus on that for the last year and this year too. And we are getting good response. A lot of filmmakers who are trans men, who are LGBT, non-binary filmmakers, they have been submitting films to us and we're showcasing them. More power to them. I really wish that they own their own stories for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a question, Anshul.
No, I think he answered the last one that you asked. Yeah. Did we have any more, or are we going to wrap it up?
I was going to ask about what you're working on a feature film right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this Evening Shadows Part 2, actually. So everybody's
Wow.
doing a franchise. Yeah, so
Yeah,
everybody's a
okay.
franchisee. So this Evening Shadows Part 2, but it can be seen as an individual standalone film to not really refer to the previous film. But the characters and some of the actors are the same. So the film is called Kuch Sapne Apne. It's about basically relationship. So it could be a relationship between heterosexual couple like the father and mother, or it could be a relationship between a gay couple. So, and their dreams. So, Kuch Sapne Apne means dreams such as ours. That's the title. So we hope to complete it by end of the year, bring it to Texas very soon. So, and you
Yes,
invite me to be there to present the film with your audience.
we
So,
will be lobbying to get it here for sure.
positively.
That's what we're going to be doing. Well, thanks a lot, Sridhar. It was, I think, lovely to have the film. We'll hope to stay in touch and hope to see you very soon in Texas. Maybe some of the Khush folks can come to Kashish next year as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole kind of brigade of London people in 2022. I think there are like almost like 20 of them descended, at Kashish. It was a great experience for them and for us, like a vibrant completely. So we should bring a lot of you people from Texas and Austin, etc. back
Guys,
here.
let's get funding to do a group trip.
I know. So best of luck with your further screenings and your further work. You're doing amazing work. And I just hope that Kush continues to bring awareness and spread a light of love everywhere.
Thanks, Sridhar. Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.